Welcome to Chrono Verse, where time is not a line, but a memory. I didn't choose to go back in time. Time dragged me with it. No names, no faces, just choices and what came after. They said time couldn't be rewritten, but it already was by me. This isn't time travel. This is time unraveling.
Time. Once it stopped. No, not in the way you think. When a clock stops ticking, you think the battery died. But I've seen it. Time doesn't die. It runs. It runs. When it's afraid of us. I arrived. Right here. Just before this exact moment. When everything still made sense. People were walking. Cars were moving. Children were laughing. Now? Nothing. The clocks are silent. The birds don't sing. There's a strange kind of silence. The kind that hurts your ears. I came here with a message. The future is broken, and it's our fault. Every day you tear tiny holes in time. When you delay, when you quit, when you stop believing, each of those moments, a crack, a rip in the timeline. I know. It sounds insane. I wouldn't believe it either if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. I watched time melt. I watched people disappear. I watched machines whisper to the wind. I came because there's still time. But not the kind you can measure. Not the kind that ticks. The only time left is a chance. And this message is that chance. I walked for hours, maybe days. But there was no sun to guide me, no wind, no sound, only a pale gray sky that never changed. This was the future, not the one from movies. No flying cars, no shining cities, just ruins, broken towers leaning like corpses, empty roads covered in dust, screens still glowing with messages no one was left to read. I found a building, half collapsed. Inside, the air felt heavier as, if time itself had grown tired, there were no people, but echoes remained. A child's drawing on a wall, a phone still ringing in an empty room, a dinner table set for no one. That's when I realized they didn't leave. They disappeared, not in an instant, but slowly. Like a page burning from the edges, they vanished, as time bent and twisted around them. Forgotten by history, erased by silence. I tried to scream, but my voice felt small, like sound didn't matter here anymore. You think silence is peaceful? It's not. Real silence is alive. It watches you, follows you, waits for you to speak so it can take your words away. It didn't happen all at once. The future didn't collapse in a single moment. It cracked. Slowly, quietly, like glass under pressure. I traced it back. The first ripple. A single decision. One person. Who chose not to act. They were late. By seconds. But time doesn't forgive seconds. It collects them. A missed train. A message never sent. A truth left unspoken. Small things. Insignificant, maybe. Until they weren't. That delay caused a chain. Someone else lost a chance. Then another and another. Time folded inward, twisting around those tiny moments we thought didn't matter. I found fragments. Newspapers frozen mid-print. Digital logs glitching at a precise second. Every single timestamp. Wrong. It's not just about cause and effect. It's about decay. When action dies, time rots. Do you understand? The future isn't built by bold moves. It's built by follow-through, by the moments no one sees. Time doesn't need explosions to collapse. It needs hesitation. At first, I thought I was alone, that this place, this ruined future, was just empty. But then, I saw the shadows. Not behind me, not beside me, but in moments. They didn't move like we do. They flickered. Appeared between seconds, in the gaps where time stutters, They never spoke, never touched, but they watched. I call them they, because I don't know what else to call something that isn't bound by time. They don't breathe, they don't age. They exist in the folds, like mold between walls. They know where you've been. They remember moments you forgot. To them, we're not people. We're data, patterns, events. I don't think they mean harm, but I don't think they care either. They didn't cause the collapse. We did, but they're feeding on it. Every broken timeline is a feast. Every delay, every regret, an opening. They slipped through cracks we made because we were too afraid to change, too slow to act. And now, they're here. Not in the future, in the now, right behind the second hand, watching and waiting for time to break again. It started small. A name I couldn't remember. A face I used to know. Gone. Just blank. I thought I was tired, maybe disoriented from the jumps, but then it got worse. Dates began to slip. Words I once said vanished. I would finish a sentence and forget how it started. This isn't just time breaking. It's memory unraveling. You see, memory is tied to sequence, to cause and effect. But when time no longer flows forward, memory loses its anchor. You start to question. Was that my thought or someone else's? Did I live that moment? Or just imagine it? I found a mirror. I looked into it. And for a second, I didn't recognize the face staring back. It wasn't age. It wasn't fear. It was absence, a hollow outline of someone who used to exist in a time that no longer does. That's what scares me the most. Not being stuck in the future, not the silence, not even them, but forgetting who I am, losing the thread of my own story. Because, if I forget, was I ever really here? I found it buried beneath a pile of ash. A notebook, worn, burned around the edges, pages torn, ink smudged, but still legible. At first, I thought it was just debris, left behind like everything else. But the handwriting, it looked familiar. I turned a page, and the words stopped, me cold. They were mine, my thoughts, my voice. But I never wrote them. It was as if someone, some version of me, had been here before, or maybe was still here. The entries were chaotic, short bursts, panicked, obsessed with time. They are watching from between seconds. Memory is leaking. Don't trust the silence. If you're reading this, you're already too late. Each line felt like a warning, not just to me, but to anyone who might find it. Some pages were crossed out. Others just ended mid-sentence. One page simply said, "I died yesterday." I don't know if that was metaphor or prophecy, but it felt real. Like the page itself remembered the moment. This notebook is all I have now. It remembers what I forget. It speaks when my mind fails. And if what it says is true, then I am. Not the first, and I won't be the last. It took me longer than it should have, but I found it. Not a city, not a person, not even a machine, a moment, frozen, looping, broken in on itself. Time node, 0 point. It sits at the edge of everything. Past, present, and all futures. A place where decisions collapse, where cause and effect devour each other. I couldn't enter it at first. Every time I got close, my vision fractured. My thoughts scattered, like the timeline knew I didn't belong here yet. But the notebook helped. A phrase, repeated again and again. You must remember what never happened. So I closed my eyes and remembered. I remembered the feeling before the first delay, before the first silence, before the first almost. I remembered being whole, and that's when it opened. The air was still. No sound, no gravity, just a pulse, like a heartbeat without a body, and in the center was me, or someone who looked like me, standing, watching, waiting, not older, not younger, just tired. He reached out a hand but didn't speak, and I understood. This was not about saving time. It was about facing it, owning it, accepting that the fracture was always mine. They didn't look like anyone I'd seen before. They were standing at the edge of the node, just outside the reach of the timeline's rip. Their faces were not familiar, but their eyes knew everything. They spoke without words, not through sound, but through memory. It's hard to explain, but it felt like they weren't talking to me. They were talking through me, through everything I'd forgotten, through everything I'd lost. They were the ones who remember, the keepers of the timelines that never were, the ones who saw every what if and every could have been. They live between the seconds, between the choices we didn't make, between the moments we can't remember, and when they look at you, you feel it. All the moments you've missed, all the paths you didn't take. One of them reached out, and for the first time I felt time stretch. Not forward, not backward, but sideways, folding over itself, and in that fold, I saw everything. The timeline isn't broken, it's fragmented. Each piece still exists, but it exists in layers, in places we can't reach unless we remember. And the ones who remember, they're waiting for us to remember too, before all the layers collapse. The ones who remember were silent for a long time. Too long. Their eyes never left me, as if waiting for me to finally understand. It was then that I realized the timeline wasn't broken because of us. It was broken because of what we didn't do, what we didn't choose, every moment we let slip away. Every chance we didn't take was an echo in time, a choice forgotten, a choice lost, but still lingering. And now, those echoes have weight. I asked them, "What do you want from me?" The answer was simple. It wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't what I expected. They want me to choose again, to make the choice I never made, to take the step I should have taken before time got tangled up in itself. But here's the truth. I don't know if I can, because every choice is a risk, and every choice carries its own price. I could go back, rewind time to the moment before, the first delay before the fracture. But what if I fail again? What if this time the echo of my failure is louder than all the forgotten choices before it? They say time is a river, but I've seen it twist, bend, and break. And now I wonder, is it really worth saving? Or is the echo of my mistakes the only thing left that's real? I thought I understood the cost of choices, but standing at the edge of the fracture, with everything hanging in the balance, I realized I hadn't even scratched the surface. This was no longer about fixing time. This was about accepting the truth. Time doesn't care if we live or die. It just moves. It doesn't forgive. It doesn't forget. It simply is. And here I stand, at the moment where everything began, where the fracture first formed, where I could have made a different decision. The ones who remember, they've already made their choice. They've seen it, felt it, lived it. But I haven't. I haven't decided yet. I can rewind time, fix the timeline, restore the moments that slipped away. But if I do, what's the cost? What happens to everything I've seen, everything I've lived, if I change what's already been? Is it worth losing myself to save everyone else, or should I walk away and let it all collapse and let time take its course? Let it tear itself apart. Let all the mistakes remain. The choices never made, the paths never taken. The truth is, I don't know if I can live with either option, but I know this much. I have to choose. Time demands it. I chose, and now I'm paying the price. The Moment my decision was made, time shuddered. It wasn't a loud crash. It wasn't an explosion. It was quieter than that. A soft, continuous crack, like the world itself was tearing open, and no one even noticed. I had a vision, a glimpse of the future, or what was left of it. The timeline bent and twisted, spinning faster than I could follow. Past, present, future, all collapsing into one moment, one singular second where nothing made sense. Nothing fit together. The faces I had forgotten were all there, watching, waiting for me to fix it, to undo it, to take the choice back. But I couldn't. The ripple effect of my decision was irreversible. And with each passing second, I watched as everything I thought I knew slipped away. I saw cities vanish, people disappear. I saw moments I hadn't lived and ones I never would. The ones who remember faded, their purpose fulfilled, their job done. Now they were just shadows in the chaos of time. And I was alone. Alone in a broken future, in a fractured timeline, in a world where my choices didn't matter anymore. The collapse of time wasn't the end. It was a new beginning. A beginning I couldn't control. A place where nothing could be fixed, where nothing could be undone. And yet in the silence that followed, I felt a strange sense of peace. Maybe this was how it was always supposed to end. Maybe this was the real timeline, the one that was never meant to be changed. And I wonder now, if I had made a different choice, would it have mattered?